Team felt for a moment there like maybe we would have had a tie, which maybe would have been an appropriate outcome, all things considered. In the end, Dustin Hopkins wins it. We'll take you inside what I imagine is a pretty happy Chargers locker room reaction as well from Russell Wilson in Denver, who fall to 2-4. Now, in a game like this, one play can certainly swing it, and one play did. The critical moment in overtime. There were no first downs, but a punt from J.P. Scott, who did a really nice job kicking off after Hopkins got hurt. Marshall Washington tries to make a fair catch, but P.J. Locke gets pushed into him. Heads up play from the Chargers. There's Locke, and that's Jasir Taylor. And then Chargers are able to pounce on it. But given the Hopkins injury, which happened on the first extra point of the night, and you heard Troy and Joe talking about it, just how far do the Chargers need to get to give them a chance? And this play doesn't look like a lot, but in this game it was massive. Herbert's able to hit Mike Williams and get them 9 yards closer. And so Hopkins, who was collapsing to the ground after each kick, buries it from just about 40 to win it for the Chargers, who moved to 4-2 with the overtime victory in a game where both defenses were spectacular. And as I said at the start, the Broncos fall to 2-4. The Jets up next for them. The Seahawks at 3-3 next for the Chargers. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman join us now. And gentlemen, of all the games we've ever watched, this was absolutely the most recent, as the old joke goes.
Yes,
the Chargers are 4-2. You guys are familiar with the cliche in golf, right? There are no pictures on the scorecard. So what? You're 4-2 at the end of this. And from where your vantage point, does this feel like you're watching a 4-2 team, Joe?
No. I think you have to take into account the offensive line. Not having Keenan Allen again for the fifth straight game, I think that's a big piece of it for Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert looks like a quarterback of a 4-2 team. The defense looked better tonight, but I know what you're getting at. I mean, neither team looked good, especially in the second half on tonight. But, hey, there are no pictures on the scorecard. There are plenty of pictures tonight. And there's a lot for each side to work on, but just more of the same from the Denver Broncos, and their frustration has just got to be absolutely through the roof.
I would imagine, because their defense was tremendous, and Troy, you know what this is to be the quarterback. You're the guy, right? And Russell's the guy. He's the new guy in town, and you got a new head coach as well. And you said it well. You got a laugh from the studio when you said, look, they're too good. They have too many good players for this, or maybe they don't. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of head scratching at the moment in Denver. What do they do to try to make this situation right?
Well, I don't know, Scott, to be honest with you, because they had 11 days to get ready for this game, and we didn't see much improvement. Now, we did there in that second quarter. It looked really good, and we thought, man, maybe Russell Wilson in this offense is starting to look like the things that we saw from Russell there in Seattle, and then it got totally shut down. But I know they've had some issues in their offensive line. I do believe, however, they've got some good skill players from what I've seen from that group over the years. But when you watch them and really study them, they're not very disciplined in the things that they do. I don't think they're a great route running team. I don't think they do the little things very well, and that's why they don't score points. That's why they had 150 yards in penalties. I mean, let's start there. And, they were the most penalized offense coming into the game. They'll be the most penalized by far after this one. And at some point, you got to stop beating yourself, and you got to be able to execute. And they've not done any of that. So, whatever it is that they've been doing, or they're not addressing the things that translate into helping them win football games. And there's been a lot of disarray. They were caught a couple times with only 10 men on the field, and just things like that. You don't win football games playing like that.
Both defenses did tremendous jobs, and I think both exploit the injuries that you allude to that are apparent on both sides of the O-line. It's just interesting to me, gentlemen, that, the AFC West back in August, we're thinking about what it might be, right? And this could be the deepest, most talented division in football, but this game, I feel like, reflects where the AFC West currently is at the moment, outside of Kansas City, coming off a close loss at home against Buffalo. And I just wonder, moving forward, Joe, this Charger team, they get a victory as they get more healthy. I have to believe that they will be the dangerous offense we thought they could be over time. Is that the sense you get, that they feel as they get healthier, they'll look more like we thought they would?
Yeah, because I think defensively that's where the question marks are, and that's interesting considering Brandon Staley was brought here as a defensive coach, was the DC of the LA Rams. This is his second year, and the defense was not good last year. They made all those additions. They have been searching for it. They've been bad against the run coming into this game, but they were better tonight, and so you have to give them credit for the way that they played. And, on the other side, you mentioned it, Denver's defense is outstanding, and they've had injuries there too. They lost Ronald Darby and Damari Mathis, the rookie corner, was picked on tonight, and he had 4 pass interference calls, but he kept his head up. They kept playing, and only that muff punt gave LA a chance to win the ball game. But I think, I wonder if they could have a do-over on the preseason, the Denver Broncos. Maybe a lot of teams are thinking this, but they don't play anybody in their offense in the preseason. And Russell Wilson, I think, is carrying a lot of pressure with the contract, with the trade that was made, and they just didn't look ready to start the season offensively. It hasn't gotten any better. The pressure continues to mount. It's just feeding on itself. So I don't know what stops that for the Denver Broncos. I think it's just going to be more of the same, and I don't know how they get a reset.
Yeah, look, 6 weeks in, and it's interesting around the NFL, right? The line under the teams we can definitively say are really good, it stops after a few, and there's a whole lot of kind of what we saw tonight, and I guess we've got time that'll sort itself out, and we'll start to get some answers here in the coming weeks. And next week, gentlemen, it'll be New England and Chicago. Travel safely there, and we'll look forward to our visit when that one's done.
Thanks, Scott.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks.
Joe, appreciate you. They alluded to it. Wilson certainly has not gotten acclimated well to this Denver offense. Both defenses great tonight, just waiting for somebody to make a play, and frankly, nobody could. It was the worst start through 6 games, tied for his worst start for Wilson. 5 passing touchdowns. It's a 2-4 football team at the moment. All right, plenty more to come from SoFi. We got Ryan Clark here to break down the difference between Herbert and the end of regulation and overtime. Plus, we got Greeley on the map for the bad beats. We got a horse that provides an apt metaphor for that entire segment. That was in Dallas. If you know, you know. SportsCenter is next.
If you don't repaint every now and then, it's like the old you